Hello students, I am Dr. Krupa Rasne, professor from Jain College of Engineering, Belgavi. Today we will continue with this lecture of module 5 which is enterprise security using Zachman framework, and it is a continuation of cyber network security concepts. Let us look now into the VTU syllabus of module 5. Cyber network security concepts continued. L1, L2, L3 is the Bloom's taxonomy. The textbook is Thomas J. Mowbray titled Cyber Security Managing System Conducting Testing and Investigation Intrusion by Wiley Publications, and we'll be referring to chapter 3 and 4. These are the YouTubes that I have prescribed for you to have a look into. This is the chapter 3 enterprise security using the Zachman framework. The Zachman framework for enterprise architecture and primitive models versus composite models. These two will be dealt with in this particular lecture, and the remaining subtopics of this particular chapter will be dealt with in the following lecture series. Here we will be understanding what an enterprise architecture is, and then what is an enterprise architecture framework. So enterprise architecture is nothing but a process by which organizations standardize and organize the infrastructure that they have, and they align it with the business goals. These strategies, they support digital transformation, the growth of IT, and also the modernization of the IT as a department in whole. The intent of an enterprise architecture is to determine how an organization can be more effective to achieve its objectives. For example, an organizational chart is a model of how business units relate to each other. And then coming to enterprise architecture framework or EA framework, it defines how to create and use an enterprise architecture, the process. Then architecture framework, it also provides principles and practices for creating and using the architecture description of a system. So enterprise architecture is nothing but the description of how an organization performs, and then architecture framework is how it executes this step by step. What is the interrelation between each of the components of these architectures that it has been framed. Now, why this enterprise framework is required? Normally, these enterprises are for complex and the ever-changing attitude in the business. Consider the United States Capitol of in Washington D.C. This is an immense legislative building of a very large enterprise, the U.S. federal government. Consider the complexity of this building and all other federal buildings. Then consider the furniture inside, which is movable, the equipment such as copy machine and telephones, and finally the computers that are changing in real time as new systems are added, relocated, upgraded, and updated. Finally, there are people with their churning organization structure, personal relationships, roles, responsibilities, knowledge, skills, and abilities. So the people not only include politicians, government employees, and contractors, but also the external people and organizations who interact with the federal government, including more than 300 million citizens. So I prefer that you refer to this YouTube to understand the complexity of any complex system that is functional in this YouTube. Now, coming to the Zachman framework for enterprise architecture, the initial framework, named A Framework for Information System Architecture by John Zachman, was published in 1987 in the IBM journal Systems Journal. The version 3, which is the current version, it has been evolved in its 30-year history. It is an intellectual tool for describing enterprises. Because enterprises are inherently complex, you need a powerful framework to describe them, a framework that divides and conquers complexity. The Zachman framework, which we'll see in the next slide, it slices and dices complexity into rows and columns. The columns are the basic questions you would ask about any subject. These interrogative include what, how, where, who, when, why. This is the Zachman framework for enterprise architecture. The enterprise ontology says that there are rows or columns which has what, how, where, who, when, why, and there are another six rows with which we are dealing with some different technologies that are required for the business. I request you to go through this YouTube channel to understand these completely. However, I have simplified this Zachman framework into a simple rows and columns, which we'll see in the next slide. So this is the same Zachman table, which is simplified. I have drawn the columns here: what, how, where, who, when, why. This is the classification. This is the audience perspective, where we have got executive perspective, business management perspective, architecture perspective, engineer perspective, technical perspective, and enterprise perspective. So these are on the this rows of each of these Zachman framework. Now each of them have their respective roles to play for any enterprise. Now, what is the role of the executive perspective is we look at these model names. So he defines basically the scope and context of that enterprise, and whenever he is looking into his work, he will have to also have this kind of questions to be answered, and he will look into what inventory he has been doing, how the process is defined, where distribution is happening. So these are some of the things that he will be looking into. And here we are dealing with the identification part. This will be the inventory part. This is the process part, distribution part, responsibility. So we have kept here. This is the timing and motivation. So these are basically the operation instances. These are the model names, scope, context, business concept, system logic, technical physics, tool components, and operations. So we can see that these basically you can interchange. That doesn't matter, any column can come anywhere, but this basically you cannot interchange. So this is the cycle that we look at, and normally the constraints that we see on the top, it cannot be seen reflected below. The Zachman framework concept. The basic idea behind Zachman framework is that the same complex thing or item can be described for different purposes in different ways using different types of description. Example, textual or graphical. The Zachman framework provides the 36 or 6 by 6 necessary categories for completely describing anything, especially complex things like manufactured goods, example appliances, constructed structures, example buildings, and enterprises, example the organization and all of its goals, people, and technologies. The framework provides six different transformations of an abstract idea, not increasing in detail but transforming from six different perspectives. It allows different people to look at the same thing from different perspectives. This creates a holistic view of the environment, an important capability which is illustrated in the figure. Next slide. The focus of the columns. So in summary, each perspective focuses attention on the same fundamental questions, then answer those questions from that viewpoint, creating a different perspective representations, example models, which translate from higher to lower perspectives. The basic model for the focus for or product abstraction remains the constant. The basic model for each column is uniquely defined yet related across and down the matrix. In addition, the six categories of enterprise architecture components and the underlying interrogatives that they answer form the columns of the Zachman framework, and these are: inventory sets, what; process flow, how; distribution network, where; responsibility assignments who, timing cycles when, motivation intentions why, focus of columns. In Zachman's opinion, the single factor that makes his framework unique is that each element on either axis of the matrix is explicitly distinguishable from all the other elements on that axis. The representation in each cell of the matrix are not merely successive levels of increasing details, but actually uh, are different representations, different in context, meaning, motivation, and use. Because each of the elements on either axis is explicitly different from the others, it is possible to define precisely what belongs in each cell. Model of the cells. So this Zachman framework, it depicts the 6 by 6 matrix as I told you, with the communication interrogatives as columns and the refrication transformations as the rows. So the framework classifications are repressed by the cells, that is the intersection between the interrogatives and the transformations. The cell descriptions are taken directly from version 3 of the Zachman. Coming to the views of the rows, each row represents a total view of the solution from a particular perspective. An upper row or perspective does not necessarily have a more comprehensive understanding of the whole than a lower perspective. Each row will represent a distinct and unique perspective. However, the deliverables from each perspective must provide sufficient detail to define the solution at the level of perspective and must translate to the next lower row explicitly. Each perspective must take into account the requirements of the other perspectives and the restraint those perspectives impose. The constraints of each perspective are additive. For example, the constraints of higher rows affect the rows below. The constraints of lower rows can but do not necessarily affect the higher rows. Understanding the requirement and constraints necessitates communication of knowledge and understanding from perspective to perspective. The framework points the vertical direction for that communication between perspectives. The Zachman framework further slices and dices complexity into rows. The rows represent a general overview of the human roles. The hierarchy of every complex enterprise has executive, business, management, architects, engineers, technicians, and users. Each of these roles can ask the same 6 questions, hence 6 cells per rows. Each row column intersection in the Zachman framework is a cell to be populated with models and specifications which are representation of the enterprise. Everyone has their own specifications. A populated row represents the enterprise architecture from that row-wise perspective. Now looking into the models of the cells, we have the first row executive perspective is looking into the scope contents, which is shown on the right side of the same row. Next will be business management perspective looking into the business concepts. We have the architect perspective next, which is looking into the system logic. Then we have the engineer perspective looking into the technology physics. Then we have the technician perspective looking into the tool components. And we have the enterprise perspective or the operations instances. Continuing with the current version 3 of Zachman framework, let us look at the first row executive perspectives, that is scope contents. The first architectural sketch is a bubble chart or a Venn diagram which depicts the gross terms, the size, the shape, the partial relationships, and some basic purpose of the final structure. So this is the role of the executive perspective. It corresponds to an executive summary for a planner or investor who wants an overview of an estimate of the scope of the system. Overall, what is the scope of the system is what he normally decides, and what it would cost and how it would relate to the general environment in which it is going to operate. The next is the business management perspective or the business concepts. This is the next in the architect hierarchy that depicts the final building from the perspective of the owner who will have to live with it in a daily routine of business, normally the customer's point of view. So they correspond to the enterprise, that is business models, which constitute the designs of the business and show the business entities and processes and how they relate. The next would be the architect perspective or system logic. The architect's plan are the translation of the drawings into detailed requirements representations from the designer's perspective. They correspond to the system model designed by a systems analyst who must determine the data elements, logical process flows, and functions that represent business entities and processes. Next comes the engineer's perspective or the technology physics. The contractor must redraw the architect's plans to represent the builder's perspective with sufficient detail to understand the constraints of tools, technology, and materials. The builder's plans correspond to the technology model, which must adapt the information systems model to the details of the programming languages, input output devices, or other required supporting technology. So we are relating this Zachman's framework with the with the view of constructing a building. So this is the engineer's perspective. Next is the technical perspective or the tool components. The technical perspective of the tool components or the subcontractors work from shop plans that specify the details of parts or subsections. These correspond to the detailed specifications that are given to programmers who code individual modules without being concerned with the overall context or structure of the system. So alternatively, they could represent the detailed requirement of for various commercial off-the-shelf cots, government off-the-shelf cots, or components of modular system software being procured and implemented rather than built. So these are the technical perspective or tool component. Now coming to the enterprise perspective or operations, he will also see, he is the last one, the sixth one, and he will also look into the operations instances and he will go through all the questionings that we have laid out here and let's see how it has been done. So what invention needs to be instantiation, that is his perspective, how the process will be instantiated, where the distribution instantiations occur, who will be responsible that instantiation is going to do, and when, that is the timing instantiation, and why, that is the motivation instantiation. So this we have seen for enterprise perspective, but this will happen for all the other upper ones which we have seen in the previous slides. Primitive models versus composite models. Let us compare how a primitive model can be compared with a composite model such as a Zachman's model. A primitive model is one that only includes entries from a single column. Row 1 contains lists of primitives from each column. Row 2 has hierarchies built from those lists which are referred to as the Zachman's frame figure. Keeping the columns separate in our models has many advantages. It makes the framework conceptually simple. The model is based upon the Zachman framework, can also be simple, and because the columns are independent, you can populate them in parallel. So this is one advantage of Zachman framework, that we can populate each of these columns in spite of they being independent. Primitive models are relatively stable and slow changing. For example, consider the information models in column 1 of Zachman's model. Our models can include a list of data entries in row 1, a data hierarchy in row 2, a conceptual schema in row 3, a logical schema in row 4, and a physical schema in row 5, and record instances in row 6. Certainly, row 6 changes constantly in the implementation, but the other cells would be relatively stable. How often do we change the physical schema requiring software re-engineering? Probably not that often in most of the enterprises. So composite models combine primitives from multiple columns. An example is a matrix that shows relationship between primitives such as processes versus the data. With that matrix, you can answer the question which processes uses which data. Composite models are necessary for assessing impacts between columns such as what data is manipulated by which processes and for describing implementation. So in this lecture, we have seen the Zachman framework for enterprise architecture and we have seen the primitive models versus composite models. In the next lecture, we'll be looking into the architectural problem solving patterns and other subsections in the following lectures. So thank you. Feel free to ask any questions.